Inside the Birds is back. What's going on, everybody? It's Geoff, Mosher, and Adam Caplan wishing all of you guys a happy new year. It is officially 2021, so hopefully all that stuff that happened in 2020 that wasn't good is behind us, although we still got a long way to go, obviously, with the pandemic and everything. But it is nice to have a new year, Adam, as we embark on, whatever 2021 will bring us.
Exactly. Wish everyone health and luck in 21. And, for your Eagles, those of you, I know we've had Washington fans watch our show and actually tell us on Twitter, which we appreciate. For the Eagle fans, obviously it's been a tough season. We'll get into the matchups and what to expect in this game, who might get an extended look. But I will tell you, next week is going to be exciting, whether they keep Pederson or not, the head coach, obviously. There's going to be some change. There always is. It's amazing with this. Every year there's been change.
No doubt about it.
In different forms, but I look forward to seeing what happens. We'll see what happens with the quarterback situation. It's been fascinating. It's been obviously a disappointing year for Eagle fans. It's a disappointing season for Eagle fans, but I'm predicting 2021 will be way better.
Oh, well, geez. I mean, it's hard to be worse than 4 or 5 wins. So, yeah, probably
Coach is
right.
going to be better. Everybody knows it couldn't be any worse, as you said. And obviously, we are hoping for a relatively normal offseason, at least get OTAs in. Man, they got to get that in. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think the time after the season finale will be interesting, intriguing. I agree, exciting in that the unknown is always very, very tantalizing.
Yep.
I think there are some big obstacles facing this franchise that they don't normally face. Quarterback uncertainty, cap issues. Of course, they'll be compliant, but it's how they get to be compliant, and then not having any more money on that to really help. I mean, they've got a lot of challenges ahead, and we'll see what happens. Do I sit here and feel like next year they're going to be right back to that? Maybe 11 or 12. I have no idea. I can honestly say I don't know what the future holds for this team. Historically, this team has not been down for very long under the Jeffrey Lurie era. They've had some blips along the way. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but if you go by history, you would think they'd be able to rebound a little bit quickly. But as we've talked about, Adam, and we'll get into this game, stability at quarterback. I mean, Washington hasn't had it either, and the Eagles have thought they've had it at times since the Donovan McNabb left, but they really haven't. When you look at long-term, a guy who's going to be your guy for 5, 6, 7 years, unless they can rebuild Carson Wentz. If not, then it's the same thing over and over.
Correct. Right. And that's going to be the number one challenge. If Doug Pederson comes back, the quarterback has to rebuild. They've got to find coaches that could help Pederson rebuild him. If it's not going to be Doug Pederson, it'll be because of the quarterback regression. Obviously, the quarterback regression is tied to the record as we speak on Friday of 4 wins, which is just unfathomable. And I got to think, in fact, I know from talking to the Eagles privately, they were never expecting this. They didn't, not that they say what their record's going to be before the season started.
Right.
I could just tell you that they're shocked despite all their injuries. And yes, it's true. It's a factor. I'm not denying it. I know Doug Pederson made himself look like an excuse maker. I was a little bit disappointed with that. I know it's all true what he said, but the fact of the matter is, I would love him to once say, hey, this is on me, like Andy Reid would do. I'm not saying he's not saying that privately, but I just wish he would give the fans who are watching a better feeling about responsibility and accountability. That was really disappointing the last couple of weeks, how he never said it's on me. I got to do a better job. It should start with that, then get into it.
Well, it'll be very interesting to see what happens after the Washington game in his final press conference there before whatever becomes of him after that. So we will listen intently to hear what he has to say. Speaking of listening intently, I think everybody, we say this all the time, but it's true. You got to check out our interview on ITB TV on our YouTube channel. It's also on our podcast platform that we did this week with Mike Quick. Thought it was really insightful, eye-opening. He obviously does the radio color commentary, but I never felt during the interview that he was pulling punches or protecting anybody. He was giving you his honest feel about the offense, and specifically we asked him, Adam, about the wide receivers, and I think he really helped dispel some of the notions that are out there from publicly about Jalen Reagor. So I would definitely encourage everybody to check it out and listen to what Mike Quick had to say, because he is a great one.
He has a comment in passing, and I barely picked it up. because I was ready to move on to the next subject, and he said something about the offense, and someone pointed out to me.
Mm-hmm.
I remember he said something about it, and then someone who had listened to it texted me, said, "You got to hear what he said about the passing game of the Eagles, just the structure of it." And he was very honest about it. He was positive, more positive than negative, but he also is a guy who's done the color commentary with Merrill Reese for, obviously he's an Eagle for life. And as you pointed out, and I totally forgot this, still the best receiver for an Eagle in the history of the club. His first full year and his second year as an Eagle. And the thing about that was, I didn't even know this until you pointed it out. I looked it up. None of us got it right. I thought it was. In fact, Mike thought it was 17 yards per catch. It was over 20 yards per catch.
Yeah,
20 yards per catch.
Yeah, eat your heart out, Deshaun Jackson.
14. Remember, this is when it wasn't a passing lead. 1983 is a quick second year.
Yeah,
and he's so smart. I got to know Mike many years ago when they let reporters into practice. Geoff, you remember this, when we could watch the whole practice, not report anything, but watch it. And I worked for the Eagles in, 13, 14, 11, 12, and 13 from the media standpoint. And that's when you're in the building a lot and you get to know him. And, I know you guys know each other.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how smart he is. And one of the things I really admire about him, just because he's an Eagle, doesn't mean he's not willing to criticize. And he doesn't hide anything. If he goes, I don't like this player, if this guy's not giving effort, right, call him out. And he's convinced that Jane Rager is going to be really good. I can just tell you, he was not. He goes, this is what I see and this is what I know.
There you go. Yeah, and again, a big surprise that Mike Quick in 1983 had over 1,400 receiving yards, and that is still the best season receiving yards wise by an Eagles pass catcher.
Right, and he explains why, and then he also gives you who he thinks the best in Eagles history were, and just the 20-minute interview. Our ITV TV interviews aren't very long. We want to get people in and out, and also our interviewee. So it was great, and we really, really do appreciate his time.
All right, moving on to the game, Adam. A lot of people have spent the week debating whether or not Doug Pederson should just play a lot of young players or should try to go for the win. But, some of that is actually not mutually exclusive because there are so many players that he's got normal, like veteran players who are injured that he may just wind up starting and playing a lot of the young players anyway. I mean, you go through the list. Miles Sanders, chief among them, who was added on Thursday with a knee. So we'll have to see what happens with him. But we already know how they treat Miles Sanders when he's healthy. Yeah. But now that he has a knee injury, who knows how much time.
Well, okay, so let's see what happens later today on Friday. If he's out there practicing, he's definitely playing. If he's not, if he's held out, it's not a good sign. I've seen enough of Boston Scott. You know what I like to see? If Miles doesn't play, give me Elijah Holyfield, okay?
Yes.
Give me Elijah Holyfield.
Maybe a little, Jason Huntley, because, why not?
Change up. That. We've seen enough of Boston Scott. We've seen Corey Clement.
Yeah.
We've seen Jordan Howard. Yeah, you know what? This is your last chance. This is your last game for the 20 season.
Right.
Okay? Deshaun Jackson, injury with his ankle. He got hurt, yes, re-injured that the broken ankle. He didn't break it again. He just re-injured the same ankle that he broke.
What's the point of playing Deshaun Jackson?
Exactly. He hasn't even practiced this week. Why would you? Yeah. Zach, thank you.
And even for Deshaun already showed he could still got it, right? He caught his 80-yard touchdown. He can go.
That was beautiful,
probably
man. What? Oh my God! It just we called it. I guess someone said that we pointed out in our pregame show. Yeah, pregame show. That expect him to go deep. Gee, breaking news. Obviously.
Yeah, I know.
But they did, and boy, it was just.
Yeah, I'm shocked that you didn't call that Deshaun Jackson 11-yard crossing route. You just knew you were going to go deep, right?
Right. Yeah, that was an easy call, but obvious one.
Yeah,
Captain Obvious. But Dallas Goedert, unfortunately, he had the calf injury last game. Didn't finish. Hasn't practiced this week. Richard Rodgers hasn't practiced since he got hurt with the ankle.
That makes sense why they protected Hakeem Butler on the practice squad.
Good point. Yep.
Probably going to see him.
Got to play. Hey, he stood in the end zone earlier in the season, but did he drop the ball? Was it a drop? It was
a drop that he didn't really fight too hard to get, I would say, especially for a guy who's 6'6".
6'5", yeah, 6'4" and a half, 6'5", yeah.
Yeah, 6'5". I mean, I think the pass got broken up, and he didn't really do a great job of trying to go for it. Yeah.
Jordan Mailata, I would call him doubtful with his concussion.
Yeah.
So what right now, folks? Whether you're Eagle fan or Washington fan, here's what you're likely to see. Matt Pryor plays left tackle. Brett, don't call him Matt Toth, plays right tackle. And they could flip-flop it if they want because Pryor's probably better at right tackle. But either way, Geoff, it's a disaster.
Oh man, Chase Young must be like
Oh
thanking
my
his
God.
lucky stars, and same with Montez Sweat, and Ryan Kerrigan's always good. Even though he's a part-time situational pass rusher now, he's always good for wrecking the Eagles anyway. So
Now,
yeah,
now,
that
now there's one other thing they can do.
max
I
protect.
highly doubt they'll do this. I think say Milo played left tackle in college a little bit.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I mean, they could move him out there if they had to. I wouldn't suggest it. uh, the guy was the guy's really a center guard. I don't know why they would do that. They could clearly sign bring Prince Tega Wanago if they think he's able to play. But there's very little. Whatever it is, Geoff, is bad.
Yeah, I know people would like to see that. We've had some people reach out to us about Prince Tega Wanago because apparently he allowed no sacks for Auburn last year, and they think he's going to be a star. Maybe he was a 6th-round pick. He had the injury, but
Casey Tucker, Casey Tucker,
and there's Casey Tucker. If you're Doug Pederson, you also have to think about protecting your quarterback a little bit. He's been hit a lot already. Both Carson Wentz and even Jalen Hurts has been sacked and hit a lot in his 3 starts, and you start putting a couple of inexperienced guys at your bookend tackles there. I mean, it's bad enough you already have to go with Matt Pryor, who's not a very good tackle, and especially not a left tackle. And then, of course, Toth, who might be making his first start. That's already dangerous. So,
correct.
Yeah, I really do wonder what's been going through Doug's mind. Does he even consider, only playing Hurts for a little bit and trying to get Sudfeld in? I don't know what his – they're all talking that we're going to try to win this game, but you have no idea what's really going on.
Yeah, I would think Hurts will play the whole game. There's unless he's struggling mightily, there's no reason. Sudfeld is on a 1-year deal. He has no future with the Eagles, unfortunately.
Right.
Barring something crazy.
Yeah.
Or something unexpected, I'll put it that way. I just don't. Nate, unfortunately, since 17 season, it's been since the 18 season. It's kind of been on the same regression as Wentz, a 2-year regression.
Mm-hmm.
Talented kid, just unfortunate. He's just not the same player. We kind of explain what they can do at running back if Sanders can't go. Defensively, it's for weeks they were in pretty good shape, but now it's just to mash units. So Cox, with the neck injury, he's not been cleared to practice yet.
I'd be surprised if he played in this game.
I would be too. Look, they could have certainly, they would have been way better on defense last week if Barnett would have played.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously at defensive end.
Yep. Now they said he's trying hard to make it back, but again, if you're struggling to make it back for this game, what's the point of getting hurt? This is a guy going into a contract.
Right, and Josh Sweat's not expected to play this week, so that stinks. I mean,
yeah,
that's too bad. He's been a good 18 draft pick, and people have brought up the drafts to me on our message board. That's really, quite frankly, that's the last good draft they've had.
It really is. Yeah. Duke Riley, the linebacker.
Biceps. Yeah, he didn't play last week. He the good thing is he got limited practice on Thursday, so he's got a chance. Michael Jaquette did get some time in with the calf strain on Thursday. That's good. But the big one out of nowhere, Jalen Mills goes on the COVID list. He's out for Sunday.
So that means you're going to see your Marcus Epps, your Rudy Fords, and your Kevon Wallace is out there.
And how about this? Rudy Ford played in the first quarter at safety. He didn't play very much there.
Right.
But the guy that played a ton at corner is Elijah Riley.
Not Elijah.
I'm sorry. Graylin Arnold.
Graylin Arnold. Yeah.
Graylin 37.
Yeah.
So he's going to play a lot of corner. He's a hybrid player. Elijah Riley's a hybrid player. He'll be out there. You might as well put him out there, get film of him.
Right.
Raekwon Williams will play more. He played last week. T.Y. McGill's out there. Sean Bradley's got a minor injury. He may not even be able to play anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So those are all the young players that might show up in this game. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and maybe we'll see J.J. Arcega-Whiteside simply because it's a meaningless game for the Eagles, and it's a chance to give him one more shot to at least show maybe he learned something over the last 5 or 6 weeks being inactive. The secondary, Adam, that we talked about that's beat up, they may catch a little break because Washington, some of their best weapons are hurt, including Terry McLaurin, who's been out with a high ankle sprain. I don't think he's practiced for the last 2 days.
No, he hasn't. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm told it's his second high ankle sprain.
Oh, man.
My scoop I had right around Thanksgiving was that he had a mile at high ankle and he'd play through it, and he did. Now, I don't know if this is the other ankle, or is it an aggravation of the same previous high ankle. I don't know that, but I do know this. This one's definitely a high ankle. He hasn't done anything this week. It's not looking good. Antonio Gibson, they still think he's going to play with the turf toe. He hasn't done anything this week.
Right.
Did a good job last week. He looked pretty good in the time that he had. And the big one is Alex Smith, right calf strain. They thought he'd practice Friday some. He did on Thursday. That's a good sign. He took almost all the first-team reps last Friday. He woke up on Saturday prior to the walkthrough. He didn't wind up participating in the walkthrough because his calf, he had a setback, small one, tighten up, didn't play. He's literally, this is the epitome of day-to-day. He's really day-to-day. They're going to see how he does each day leading up to the game.
Well, you almost think that, I'm almost like compelled to want to make two different predictions for this game. One, if Alex Smith does play quarterback, and one, if Alex Smith does not play quarterback, because it's such a big difference.
Taylor Heineke is Scott Turner's guy. I remember talking to Scott about him years ago. So Scott saw him. Part of it was the East-West Shrine game week. I was there, and I didn't think he looked that good, but Scott didn't agree with me. He has better access, obviously. He liked him. He loves his smarts and his toughness. The kid is super smart. And remember, in 2018, he was the relief pitcher quarterback when Cam Newton had the bad shoulder. Not only did he start a game, he would come in on 3rd and long. Any throw that was over 20 yards because he had a strong arm than Cam then, because Cam couldn't throw past 20 yards because of his shoulder.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So he's Scott's. I gave him. Scott likes him enough. This is his 3rd team he's been with. Carolina, Minnesota. He started with Minnesota with Scott and Norv, and they brought him into Carolina. And Scott brought him over here. And look, he's he might be starting. He did relieve Dwayne Haskins, who was cut this week. So what a nightmare for Washington, man.
Well, what do you make of that? I mean, not just that he's cut, but then he goes through waivers unclaimed. Of course, no one's going to take the rookie contract that he's on, but he hasn't signed with anybody. I don't think, as we report.
No, he would get a futures. The problem that Washington had, a problem. They wanted Ron Rivera's personnel control wanted him off the roster so much. They're taking an over $8 million cap hit. They don't care. They just want him off the roster.
Right. So it's almost a good sign for Washington that the owner has allowed Ron Rivera to just take control of this thing and make the decisions.
Yep.
The adult in the room is making the decisions now.
Ron's got personnel control. We'll see. They're one of 6 teams that doesn't have a general manager. So whether he's going to bring his friend Marty Herney in or someone else, or promote AJ Smith's son Kyle Smith, who's the personnel director, they're probably going to need to add one. Now they're going to have hopefully we'll have a real offseason, and we wish Ron all the luck in his treatments. I guess the treatment's ended, but in his recovery, so great guy, former Eagles assistant coach. What a wonderful guy, and glad he's doing well.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a big 3 though for Washington when you consider Alex Smith, Antonio Gibson, and Terry McLaurin all kind of questionable right now, and we'll see. Although it does sound like Gibson's going to go. I hope he does, because he's an exciting player to watch.
Right. Gibson's such a my good. We had that story, let's scoop on our we had a good Memphis source who gave us kind of the intel on him when the season started. Before the draft on our draft shows. By the way, we're going to do those again, and guess who's going to be involved? Greg Cosell.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's going to be Greg is going to be heavily involved with us. We're hoping to do in-person draft shows with him, but COVID will decide whether we'll be able to do that. We'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. But we cannot wait for our off-season shows, folks. We do it like crazy.
It's going to be awesome. Wait. Definitely. All right, let's stop for a second. Let's remind our listeners and friends that you got to head over to phlsportsnation.com to get all the great content and coverage that they've got on the Eagles, the Sixers, the Flyers, the Phillies, and the Union, enhancing the fan experience with everything that they do. Check them out at phlsportsnation.com or on Twitter at phlsportsnation. And we'll pause one more time for a word from our other great sponsors, including our friends at Sky Motor Cars. All right, Adam, we got into a little bit, but let's try to, create in our mind what the offense will look like against this really good Washington team. And I put myself out there in August and September when I said, this Washington team, I said they're not going to the Super Bowl, but they remind me a little bit of the way that 49ers team was bad for a few years and just kept building first-round picks on the D-line. And then all of a sudden, they got a capable quarterback, and bam, they were in the Super Bowl. And I felt that if Alex Smith became the quarterback of Washington at any time during the season and they were still in it, that they'd have a good chance to win the division. And here they are. They can win the division with a win tonight. And it's largely because of that defense, not because Alex Smith he stabilized it.
I just love that after 17 surgeries, he never gave up. What a story.
Unbelievable story.
It's really, What an awesome! He's such a great dude. Yeah.
But this one has the potential to be a very, very ugly game.
Low scoring. Low score turnovers.
Yeah, simply because the offensive tackles that the Eagles, whoever's starting where, are going to have to face Chase Young and Montez Sweat. And I think that, and not only that, the interior line has to deal with Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen. That's no picnic either.
No, Tim Settle's a good backup. He's got a minor injury, and Cameron Curl is a 7th rounder safety who's played really well. But they'll face old friend Ronald Darby.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is protection, obviously. The Eagles are in trouble this game. I despite the problems that Washington has on offense, and they've got problems. We'll get to their offense, but we'll start with the Eagles' offense. It won't take very long. Well, Geoff outlined who some of the guys who might play. This is just me looking at it. The guys who need to play an offense, we talked about running back. They should get John High. I know John Hightower really regressed. Route running wasn't crisp. Just did not perform well, and that's fine. I mean, he didn't earn his playing time. I get it. Guess what? It's the last game of the season. Put him in there.
Mm-hmm.
Get him out there. He could run. Quez Watkins has done a nice job lately. He's got a minor injury, but he should be available. Watkins, Hightower, Fulgham, Rager, JJ, obviously, whatever he can give you.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I wouldn't even play Alshon. He's not going to be with the team next year. I don't care what he thinks. I would bench him. I
agree with you, but you know how they think. I agree with you, but I
wouldn't play him. I mean, he's not going to be with the team. He hasn't done anything to get benched. He's given decent effort, but he's not going to be with the team. Or you know what you do? You spot play him or barely play him. Let JJ back him up and go from there. We kind of know what Fulgham is. He's talented. He needs to perform better in practice. That's one of the reasons why his role was cut into. But fact of the matter is, they've got guys they could look at. That's what this game's about. At tight end, we outlined that. The only thing on offense, maybe they might do, they could not play Kelsey the entire game. But the problem is, if you do that, if it was against a worse front, I would be in favor of playing Luke Juriga or Pierce Bacher, the kid they ironically got from the Washington practice squad.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do it. You can't. Now, if you want to play those guys at guard.
Yeah, well, would you be tempted to move Sayamalu to center just as again, against a different team? You're not trying to screw around now against this one.
I know why you're thinking that, because maybe he's going to be the guy next year at center.
Yeah. And that's not even like sneaky, right? Like Jason's pondered retirement before a couple of years.
I get it.
It's just now is a tough time to make that
exactly. Do you really want to do it against Washington? So this could look really ugly. Caleb Wilson also could play in this game.
Right.
Tight end. That's it. Geoff mentioned Jason Huntley, and then Washington's offense versus the Eagles defense. Okay, so here's who you're looking at. You might remember Temple's Isaiah Wright has been a nice story of development for them. Cam Sims, Steve Sims, McLaurin probably won't play with his high ankle. Antonio Gandy-Golden came off IR recently.
Yeah.
Logan Thomas has been unbelievable at tight end. Let me just say something real quick here with this kid. What a great story. I was at the Senior Bowl when came out for the draft. He was horrendous.
He was a quarterback, right?
Yes. Awful. Yeah. As a quarterback. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Terrible. Big kid, high character kid, smart. One problem. Horrible inaccuracy.
Where did he go to school? I'm sorry. Where did he go to school again? I forget.
I thought it was. Let me just double check. Was it Auburn or Buffalo? Virginia Tech. Virginia
that's
Tech.
Right. I remember watching that Senior Bowl on TV, and he was being a focal point. Yeah.
He's been with 6 teams. Okay. Here's why it's worked for him. He accepted that he was not going to be a quarterback. And when you're willing to look yourself in the eye and take responsibility and say, you know what, I'm not good enough. Let me try something else. If I'm going to play in this league, he's 6'6".
Yeah.
And he's been great. He's earned himself to me an extension. He's been so good. What a great job by him. Really a fan of the kid. We're really good. By the way, pretty good for fantasy. A top 10 fantasy tight end. Can you believe it?
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, he had like a 10-catch game a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, maybe 10 targets. I thought it was 10 catches.
He definitely had a good game recently, but he scored a bunch of touchdowns. Really good story.
Yeah. He caught one against the Eagles in week 1, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, he did. You're correct. He stood right in the end zone and scored. Yeah. Right. J.D. McKissick, the journeyman flash running back, H-back, he's been catching a ton of footballs. Guy in fantasy, I just got on late. I just didn't he's been put up massive numbers in PPR leagues some weeks. So
Right.
Assuming Gibson plays, McKissick's the changeup and the third down back.
Mm-hmm.
Gibson's their starter. They'll have Peyton Barber in for short yardage. Lamar Miller's there, the journeyman running back, if they need him to be active. They're healthy in offense. Other than Wes Schweitzer, the left guard, has got a minor injury. To me, this is a low-scoring game. I know they're committed to the run. Gibson did some good things against the Eagles in week 1. I do worry about McKissick out of the backfield.
Yeah, I worry about both of them. Actually, they both can catch the ball pretty well out of the backfield. And so, yeah, this is going to be a challenge for Eagles linebackers. Duke Riley may not play. So you've got Singleton and you've got TJ Edwards and, Davion Taylor. We shouldn't forget. He was activated into the 21-day window.
Hey, thank you for mentioning that because there's a big shocker with Brandon Brooks. We'll get to him in a second.
Yeah. And real quick, Logan Thomas had a 13-catch, 101-yard game 2 weeks ago in Seattle, and he had a 9 for 98 game against Pittsburgh. So he really has come on at the end of the year.
You know what's funny?
Eagles
played a lot of cover 3 last week.
Mm-hmm.
So Seattle plays cover 3. I know not all cover 3s are the same, but that would be scary.
Let's quickly tell our friend. I'm sorry, Adam. Do you want to finish that thought?
No. Well, and then obviously the other one's Brandon Brooks. I would be shocked if he played this week. There's a ramp up period. But we'll have more on Sunday. Pregame show at 10 a.m. and explain what if he's playing by a shock. We'll explain why.
Right.
We'll know, but it's just what a great straight person. This guy's unreal, man.
He's a freak of nature. He's just a freak of nature.
And you got to cheer for him. He's a great Eagle. What a great free agency signing he was in 16. And
Definitely.
I don't know what the Texans were thinking. And to get over his anxiety as he has, it's just what a great Eagle he's been. Great guy, and I'm rooting for him. We all should.
Absolutely. All right, let's quickly tell our friends about our other friends from DraftKings. So while the holiday season may be winding down, the sports calendar is in full swing this week, and from college to the pros, there's no shortage of action, and there's no better place to get in on all of this action than with DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. If you haven't tried out DraftKings Sportsbook yet, what are you waiting for? To celebrate this year's college football playoffs, DraftKings is giving all new users the chance to bet on any semifinal team to win the championship at 100-1 odds. That's right. All you have to do is bet $1 on any semifinal team to win the championship. And if your team wins, you can cash $100. While we're all excited for football, let's also not forget the 2021 basketball season just kicked off. So head over to the app now and check out all of DraftKings daily odds boosts. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, making it easy for you to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. So download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code ITB when you sign up to get 100-1 odds on any semifinal team to win it all. That's code ITB for new players to get a shot at $100 on any semifinal this week for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only. Restrictions apply in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Go 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, Adam. I want to ask you, because this is a rare game like this, give me like 2 guys you're really interested in seeing play for the Eagles this week that are not like traditionally on the field a lot that you suspect will play.
That's a good question. Okay, I got to preface this by saying if Sanders doesn't play, I want to see Elijah Holyfield.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Why have you had him on your practice squad all season? In fact, even if Sanders plays, get him some work. Don't have Jordan Howard up. We know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Clement will play on special teams anyway. Boston Scott did not have a good season. We've seen enough of him. Let's see. I think he's, because quite frankly, he was in the wrong role. He's a change-up. He had way too significant of a role. He should have just been not a good special teams returner. Give me Elijah Holyfield. Let's take a look at him. He would be one. Defensively,
I mean, if Davion Taylor can play, it would be interesting to see him play.
He would be the guy. Yes.
Yeah.
And, okay, let me throw this back at you.
Okay.
What would you do if Brandon Brooks, his rehab has been terrific. If you just watch his videos he's put on IG and Twitter.
I wouldn't.
Looks great. Okay. Well, then the next question: why would you have him up for the like? Okay, so he's on the practice window,
right?
He's only getting 3 practices in before the game and a walkthrough. Now, the medical staff would assess the risk. I doubt that he plays because it's just not enough time when he's been out for 6 months. It's almost unheard of. You typically don't, if it was a playoff game, then it becomes a risk assessment.
Mm-hmm.
But here, and I understand playing is risk or not, but what would be the advantage of him playing right now? Is my question.
Well, I'm not sure that's a great question. I don't know if there is any advantage, but if there is a little bit of advantage, I would think, to continuing his rehab, and then if he's ready to get on the field and do some team drill stuff, to be able to do that. And
yeah, get a
you
look
can't
at
do
it
that while you're on IR. So I almost thought that was just like a technical formality thing that they had to activate him just so that he can get out there and run around with the team on the
practice. Oh yeah, you can't
field.
practice unless you're. Yeah, he has to be activated into the window when you're on. He was on reserve PUP.
Mm-hmm.
For him to practice, he had to be activated. So
right.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Good point. And then, see, and by the way, there's no risk here for him in terms of owing him money. They already owe him $10 million. We reported this back in March.
Mm-hmm.
We got a hold of his contract, and it's $10 million fully guaranteed. It was actually fully guaranteed this past March. They did what's called an advance guarantee. If he's on the roster this March, his base salary next year is fully guaranteed, and that's it. So that's why we said he's going to be back no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, again, of course, no one knew this was happening. It was not reported he was going to practice. They put it out there. I'm like, whoa, what?
I know. It was very surprising.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere. Like, we didn't know he was doing well, but I didn't think that would happen. But okay, let me before we get out here, if he's available to play, so obviously Herbig is playing in his stead.
Uh-huh.
And against this front, obviously Nate's not a good athlete. Brandon's a better football player, 100% better. Now, how he's going to come back from an Achilles, who the hell knows?
Uh-huh.
But it makes him better.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would risk it. I just don't, the way this season has gone for the Eagles and their injuries, I'm just not putting Brandon Brooks out there unless the game's meaningless. I get the question, and I appreciate, it does make you think, but I just don't see the risk reward here. To me, is not add up right. You're going to get way more risk than you are reward of getting him in one.
Because the game doesn't mean anything. Even if he's 100% and ready to go,
right.
I don't like that he's only getting 3 practices. I understand he's an unbelievable physical condition. It's not football condition is not the same as physical condition.
Is it possible that they just now that spitballing here that they have had a bunch of injuries? They don't have a bunch of backups on the interior line. Pierre Scherbacher could be a backup guard center.
Sure.
Rodriguez only a center. I don't know. Maybe if in an emergency, if they lose a guard or two in the game, they feel like they can put Brandon in. I don't know.
Have him up and let him go through warm-ups. Let him go through the walkthrough. It's another way to look at it. It's so unique. It's just very unique. I haven't seen anything like this before.
I'd agree.
I remember when I was checking into it, and they left the door open for him to return, particularly for the playoffs if they got in. And because they knew that he was so far, he was, I don't know how you 6 weeks ahead of schedule, whatever it is, whatever the week. He was definitely well ahead of schedule. So they left it open that in the playoffs, the way I had heard it, he would probably be able to come back at some point. Then, who knows? It meant mid-January. It was so long ago when I asked this. I don't know what the hell
I know, right?
I don't remember exactly what was explained to me, but okay, great. He's doing great. Great story. And look, one thing I do want to say about their medical staff. I understand there's been a rash of injuries, but the one positive out of all this has been what I've heard is a lot of players' timeline was shorter than normal. Remember, we crushed them 2 years ago. Geoff and I did an expose. Unless you've been with us the whole time, you probably wouldn't remember it. But it was our season-ending show in 2018. We did it from that bar next to
the Market Tavern.
What's it called?
Market Tavern.
Market Tavern, right? Next to the 30th Street. And we had so much information, and it was so critical of all the issues with long rehabs, shouldn't be taking as long, agents complaining, players complaining, and all this stuff. And I know there's been a rash of injuries, but I've not heard the complaining I usually hear. Look, they've had a rash of injuries. Doug Pederson was talking about that earlier this week. They've really got to look into why so many injuries, not the length, but why are they happening? Why they bring Ted Rath in. The Rams, again, for the second straight year, the least amount of players on the injury report. I keep track of this stuff.
Right.
Just remarkable.
It's amazing.
Yeah, although they had, unfortunately, like 4 guys get hurt the last game. But I don't get it. I don't understand why the Eagles are having all these issues. Guys getting hurt, but it's something they've got to do. They've got to keep looking into it. I'm sure they will.
I'm sure. All right, let's do what we do best here and give our predictions and then get out of here.
Yep.
according to our friends at DraftKings, by the way, the line has been crazy moving. I think the Eagles were favored earlier in this week, but now they're getting 2.5 points. Maybe the news of Alex Smith.
Wait, they were actually even if Taylor Heineke is
sure they were favored. Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm not a gambler, so what the hell do I know? But
with an over under of 44, that's got to be one of the lowest ones this week.
Well, but you know what? Okay, all right, okay. We both got it right. We got the over last week. No, you picked Dallas, right?
I did pick Dallas. I'm the only one that got it correct.
Man,
yes.
You bum. All right, so all right. You want my score?
Of course.
Eagles 13, Washington 20.
20-13. All right. So you're saying, well, Washington more than covers there.
Lower.
And then
Yep.
under. Yeah, I think I'm going the under too. I thought it would be, I had Washington 24 and the Eagles 17. So
it should be under. Okay.
Under. Yeah.
Well, here's the problem, though. See, my only issue with taking Washington this week,
Mm-hmm.
I know that Heineke knows the scheme, but he's barely been with them. He's only played in the one game. So
I'm thinking Alex Smith is going to play.
Well, no.
Oh, okay.
I do think he's going to play. Right as we speak Friday morning, just the information I have would he's trending towards playing, but you know what happened last week.
Right.
But the thing is, will he last with a calf strain?
Good question. Good question. We will find out. And we'll analyze it all on Sunday for the final time this year. It'll be you, me, Greg Cosell, Trey Thomas, the Sunday pregame show. It'll start at 10 a.m., end at noon. And then after that, it's all in the Eagles and Jeffrey Lurie's hands. And, of course, we'll be back with our post-game pod Monday morning, 6 a.m. Everybody, hope you had a great new year. That's going to be it for this edition of Inside the Birds, the leading podcast in Eagles Intel. Big thanks to our producer, Hunter Brody. As always, you can check out his work on his YouTube channel, Sports Talk with Broads, and on his Twitter account, @Broads81. And as always, we thank you for flying with us inside the birds.